بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is episode number 20, and we started in the subject of money by dividing the subject in two parts, the negative part and the positive part. The negative part we finished by explaining the goldsmith phenomena and how it ended up by the illusion, the fraud, the counterfeiting, the adulteration of money. And in the whole thing was just like a conspiracy to human. And the result for that, a loser and a winner. And the only winner is the one who controls the currency. And everybody else is loser. And we end up there, and the question is, if that the case, what is the right thing? And we said we're going to introduce the Islamic concept of money. Money in Islam is the right way. We should follow. We should correct the position. Actually, the Islamic way is not something new. It was before Goldsmith created his phenomena, and whoever see that as a convenience to abuse the subject. Now we should start introduce the view or the money view in Islam, the money in Islam. Money in Islam need to understand what happened before was a default. Default not for the physical world, the default was unhuman. How? By drifting from the rule of physics, I would say that first, and the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which keep human in harmony with the physical world in order to have the best use of it, as it been created for us. And in order for us to have the best of it, we should do what is required from us. Is to follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to do. Do that, don't do that. Then before the goldsmith phenomena, at one time, the whole world used gold and silver as currency. They might use something else, but gold and silver was used everywhere as a medium of exchange. I'm not saying when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam received his message or his divine revelation from Adam. As we say, Islam is starting with Adam alayhi salam from the beginning. He knew what is gold and silver. He actually, I have some reference in the book, the first one meant the gold and silver as currency. Then the history came, people changed until we reached the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet brought up in Mecca, and the Mecca was center, trade center for all the Arab or for the Arabian Peninsula. He knew what is trade because he was practiced. He had a partnership, trade partnership with his wife, المؤمنين خديجة على رضوان الله عليها. And he knows what is natural. He knows what is money, what is transaction. And when the revelation came, he done one of three things according to the divine law. Because human society never starts from zero, there was a society in Mecca. There something was good, he accepted, confirm it, endorse it, and deal with it. And there something was need a bit of a change, he changed it. And there was something bad, he completely abolished it, according to the divine rule. One of them, these things he accepted is dealing with gold and silver. And from now on, I want you to have a question in your mind. Does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have created money for human or left it to human to play with? If you understand how important money is in human society, you wouldn't hesitate 1 second that this instrument Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought it to this life for human to be used in order to close the door for human to abuse this thing called money. Back again, the Arab, where the Mecca was, or the Arabian used to do, as well as the whole world, used to use gold and silver as currency, as a medium of exchange. But because these currency coming from abroad, because Arabian did not have a political entity. They was like an open society. They had currency coming from Byzantium and from Persia, gold and silver. They used to deal with it by weight because they have different weight. Unless they know what they're doing, this weight was the measure for transaction. They weighed the gold, they weighed the silver. And the Prophet ﷺ standardized the deals as a measurement instrument. He said the weight is according to Mecca, and the volume according to Al-Madinah. Even sometimes people, some of the historians, saying this currency wasn't really has some picture or things which is Muslim not used to. But the Prophet ﷺ, because of the function, the importance of using gold and silver, dealt with it. Maybe they scrap it or get rid of the draw, but they use it by weight. And he actually organized the way to deal with it. He said, weight by weight. He prohibited to use gold and silver for cutlery, for example. That doesn't mean the gold and silver is bad, like, for example, the alcohol, which is naturally bad. No, it's using it bad because it's not made for that sort of thing. And actually, it is dangerous to use it for cutlery or for something which is not being created for. Because money supply is very important. And if you use it for something else, you reduce the amount of money or medium of exchange available for people to use. Funny enough, he prohibited the gold for men to use and allow women to use. There is some discovery, scientific discovery about this, but I'm not talking about. The idea is gold and silver was used. The Prophet ﷺ accept using it as a media for exchange, but has regulate some of things about gold and silver. When we come to the, maybe later on, we'll deal with the Quranic text about gold and silver, which would tell us again, will answer the question, which we will always carry until the end of this session. Has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the gold and silver to be money or to be a caliber of value for human or not? And if some people say, or not, maybe not for to be used as currency, then what it is being created for? What is the function? What is the job for it to be? And we will talk in details about that. But meanwhile, it's important that the Prophet ﷺ has used gold and silver and regulate the use of it. And that very important. He accepted it as a medium of exchange. Some people would say, well, the Prophet ﷺ accepted a lot of things. We don't accept it today. The word is not accurate, but whatever the Prophet ﷺ accepted, it become legally allowed. Sharia allowed, which means no other authority have the right to prevent using it by law or by anything else. This about specifically about gold and silver. I have always the example of swag, a rock stick. The Prophet ﷺ used a rock stick. He asked us to use it, but never made it obligatory. You use it or not use it. That opened the door that we might find something else to use. No, nothing else will be better than a rock stick. But you have flexible to use something else. But no one have the authority to prohibit using the siwak or the arak stick. You can use the toothbrush, the toothpaste, but you cannot prohibit the use of arak stick. And that principle is very important. Why? Because all the countries in the world, including the big countries, the World Bank, the monetary organization, International Monetary Fund, they prohibited using gold and silver as a currency. Why? It's very obvious. Because if gold and silver is being available for people to use gold and silver as currency, as a medium of exchange, they will never go for the fiduciary. That one obvious reason. And the second, which is indirect, they have already taken from the people all the gold and silver. They put it in their vault. You can say stolen or whatever, any other word, but this is the reality. Gold and people used to own gold and silver. They exchange it for these fiduciary fiat money. Now, where is the gold and silver? In order to keep it where it was or where it is, they not abandon using it. They criminalize who use gold and silver as a currency. Sometimes people say that that's too much. It's not criminalized. I'm saying this every country in the world, including the International Bank, International Monetary Fund, they criminalized whoever use the gold and silver as a currency. Then, if you go here, for example, for in England, which is very organized and very aware of what the public do, if you go to any shop and asking for goods and exchange the good, you take the goods and pay for it by a currency, gold or silver, you face a criminal offense, which is very dangerous, but it's understandable. It's obviously without this, people naturally, as they used to be, long time before the goldsmith phenomena, used to dealing with gold and silver. They will come, whatever nature has guided them to use it, they will guide them naturally, and we'll see why, to use gold and silver. To prevent that, you have to pass law to prevent people using gold, gold and silver as a currency. As we said, the Prophet ﷺ understand what the function or the importance of the currency, the media of exchange, when he received revelation. The revelation confirmed using the gold and silver, because the currency was, there's a variation in the weight and the quality of the currency at the time. The Prophet ﷺ standardized the currency by, as he used to do, by weight. Maybe by numbers, but you have to make sure the quality is the same or the weight the same. This currency, actually people get used to know it in their transaction. Then that confirm. And when I say I'm introducing the Islamic money or money in Islam, I have to have a reference from the Quran and Sunnah. I started with Sunnah here because it's more practical, more practice. And this is what the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, he confirmed using gold and silver, he regulate using gold and silver, and the next step in the next video, on the next episode, we will get the text from the Quran to tell us the referring text about gold and silver in particular. And we'll see you in the next episode, number 21, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.